Josh here from Life's Rabbit Hole, and this is your companion video for lesson number 3 for the ebook Millionaire Mentors and the Lessons They Taught Me. And this lesson is focused around the concept of the 4 steps to a sale. Now let me stop you right there before you hit pause on the video just because you're not in sales. Because here's the thing, I believe that we're all in sales. Whether you're a teenager who's trying to convince mom and dad that they should let you go on that trip that you want to go on or stay out past your curfew, or you're a parent and you're trying to convince your kids that they need to eat their vegetables. Or maybe you're a student who's actually trying to work with a professor to get an extension on an assignment deadline or get out of a test. Or maybe you're actually in business and you work with customers on a daily basis but don't necessarily sell them something. Or maybe you're working with your boss and trying to convince him or her that you deserve a raise. All of us are in sales. In fact, I'd like to share a story with you about how this lesson really impacted me long before I was ever in business or in sales for myself. And it's actually a story about how I got the loan for the first car that I ever bought. See, my dad, he was actually the most financially responsible person that I knew growing up, and one of his golden rules was never co-sign on a loan for someone else, because if they back out or they don't make their payments, you're on the hook. And so my dad's golden rule in life was, regardless of who it is, even if it's family or friends, don't help someone get a loan. Well, when I went to the bank and actually tried to get a loan for this car, I had no credit and I had no way of getting the loan myself, so I had to find someone to co-sign the loan with me. And the only person I knew who had the ability to do that was my dad. So I had to actually take the 4 steps to a sale and apply them in my conversation with my father to help him understand how helping me get this loan by co-signing with me was actually something that was in his best interest as well. Now in the chapter, we actually unpackage the 4 steps in a little bit more detail and actually give you instructions on how to use them. But what I want to really focus on today is the step of trust me and pay me. See, the 3rd step is trust me, and that's where you have to build trust with the person that you're selling to. And what I found was that with my dad, I mean, he liked me really well because I'm, of course, his own son, and he also knew me because I grew up with him. I mean, I'd spent the first 20 years of my life with him at this point. But he didn't necessarily trust me the way that he needed to trust me in order for him to feel good about helping co-sign this loan for me. So what I did was I just prepared myself really well by making sure I entered the conversation with my dad with a value proposition that really helped him understand how this was something that was actually not a risk for him. So I went in with all of my financials broken down. I mean, I showed him, here's what all of my bills are, here's what my income is from my job, and there's no way that I could not afford this loan, even if I was being irresponsible and spending half of my money on a monthly basis. I would still be able to actually pay for this loan because it was a small loan. I wasn't going for a brand new car, for example. I was going for a used car. And the loan really, the payment on the loan wasn't that much compared to the income that I was bringing in on a weekly or monthly basis. And I was able to build confidence in my dad, and just the fact that, you know, him helping me do this now, him taking this short-term risk, if it paid off in the long run, would teach me to be more financially responsible, would give me a car so he didn't have to keep carting me around anymore. So that would give him more time back with his car, and it would make me more independent. So in the long run, I would actually be able to, you know, if you would, get off dad's checkbook a little bit quicker in my life. So what ended up happening was after that, then because I'd done the 3 steps really well and done them in order, when it came to actually asking my dad to co-sign for the loan, there was really no problem. In fact, he was like, yeah, sure, let's go to the bank right now. Let's get this taken care of. And when we did that, afterwards, I sat with him and I was like, wow, Dad, I was actually really surprised you did that. And he's like, why were you surprised? And I said, because you've always had this golden rule. And he's like, yes, that was my golden rule. But the fact is that I like you and I really know you well, and you did a really good job helping me trust that this was actually a good decision for me to make. And so in the long run, that's what ended up helping me out getting the loan for my first car. And I learned something very valuable there. That when you follow the 4 steps to the sale that Joel Comm taught me, those 4 steps can really help you get anything you want in life, and will always make sure that your customers like working with you. So remember, when I say customers, I'm talking about anybody that you're personally working with to try to help them help you get something done. So imagine if you become really effective with this concept and your persuasion skills improve. And now I'm not talking about doing things that are bad for other people or that, are at the expense of others. But what I am talking about is, imagine what it would be like if anything you felt was good for you or for the better of the people around you, you were able to get done. What kind of an impact would that have on you? What kind of an impact would it have on your family? How much quicker would you be able to get things done? And how many more things would you be able to accomplish in the course of a month, or in the course of a year, or in the course of the next 5 years? Think about that. What kind of an impact would that have on your family? What kind of an impact would it have on your friends? How about the impact it would have on your community? This is how business leaders become who they are. And when you think about it, the greatest leaders, what they're really great at is sharing their ideas in a way that gets people behind them. And those leaders are able to make a huge difference. So if you haven't already, read the chapter that corresponds with this lesson and answer the questions that are at the end of it. Then send us any questions or comments or feedback that you have. You can do that simply by clicking the Contact Us link at the top of the website, lifesrabbithole.com. We'd love to hear from you. And not long from now, you'll get another email from us with the next lesson, which is focused around the concept of the pursuit of perfection and how you can continually grow and achieve at high levels without having the pressure of having to always be perfect. So thank you for your time today and for letting us here at Life's Rabbit Hole join you on your journey through the doorway to a new world.